fought to protect them. If a candidate says they stand for Israel, if a candidate says that they will stand against Iran acquiring nuclear weapons capability, show me where you've stood up and fought to protect it. The Scripture tells us, you shall know them by their fruits. And that's the test I hope every primary voter, every caucus goer applies to every one of us. And I would encourage you, ask of the candidates, including me, ask that question. Don't tell me. Show me, if you say you oppose Common Core, show me where you've stood consistently against Common Core. That's how we tell the difference between who's walking the walk and who's just talking at the talk.
And you know what? Listening back to that, Senator Ted Cruz's message has not changed at all, has it? He is not running from being a conservative. In fact, he's running towards being a conservative. And that's why, as we stand here late in 2015, going into 2016, that we see the senator at the top of the polls right now. Lots of great interviews to come, folks. You know what? I just want to run down real quick. I've been going through www.BehindEnemyLinesRadio.us just to check back on the year that we had, from CPAC to going to the first debate in Cleveland to going to D.C. for Value Voters Summit. We've gotten so many great guests from so many great organizations. I mean, you just heard Ted Cruz. We have Kevin Sorbo and the Benham brothers coming up later on. We got Senator Mike Lee coming up later on. Roger Stone is coming up later on. We'll talk about Clinton's war on women again. Former Oklahoma Congressman J.C. Watts, Dr. Alveda King, Mike Huckabee from Value Voters Summit. Value Voters, we broke a lot of news talking to John McCain, talking to Louis Gohmert, and many great organizations besides like NRCC and the NRA with like Cameron Gray, one of our good friends, fellow Brooklynite, Concerned Veterans for America, and the organizers of CPAC, the ACU, and Matt Schlapp, and Congressman Jim Jordan. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. What a great year we had here. We've been really blessed this year. Not only by the guests, but by the expansion of the show to so many networks, including WNJC 1360 AM, Philadelphia's Renaissance Station. My condolences to all Eagle fans out there. I guess rest in peace, Chip Kelly. But, it's been such a great year. We're going to keep the interviews going right now. Just a sample right there of the names and the people who came on the show, folks. Really was a who's who this year. Including this interview, when we sat down with Kevin Sorbo during CPAC to talk about his movie Caged. Take a listen to this. I got Hercules to come on the show, Russ. Kevin Sorbo, thank you so much for coming on. You gotta be getting tired of everybody saying Hercules,
I never
right?
get tired of it. Dude, 7 years of my life, the most watched show in the world. How can I not like doing that? 7 years in New Zealand on top of it.
Gotta be honest.
I didn't have to be in America. I was in New Zealand.
I gotta be honest.
If I have to find another country, that's where I'm moving to.
I'm more of an Andromeda fan, but
that was 5 years. That was
shows.
5 years in Canada. I was up there in Vancouver.
Amazing stuff. We love
Thanks.
everything you do.
Appreciate it.
Especially God's Not Dead. Another
I'll tell you, it's
amazing project.
It's one of those little movies that just hit a nerve and it just took off. It was a number one indie last year and by far and away the number one dollar for dollar movie. It caught on so quickly. Yeah. It was amazing. And, we talk about these right of center projects that have been coming along, like God's Not Dead, like Persecuted, and like your new movie coming out, Caged, coming out in the fall. Don't bring up Persecuted to me.
What? Oh, okay, no problem. But, Caged.
There's a different thing with that. Anyway, go ahead.
No problem.
Okay.
Caged.
Yes.
Coming out in the fall.
Yes.
It's going to be an amazing movie because it's hitting on an issue that's very important right now. We're talking about human trafficking. And tell everybody about your role in it and what the movie's about.
I actually have two roles in it. I'm playing the good brother and the bad twin brother. And it was fun. We shot down in Baton Rouge, same place we shot God's Not Dead, actually. And it was from the co-producers of God's Not Dead that did this movie. And it deals with human trafficking. And I had no idea. I've always heard about it. I always know it's pretty bad around the world. I had no idea it was so bad in our own backyard right here. It's huge here in the States. And it's worldwide, I think there's about 27 million people that they're estimating they're involved in human trafficking. And it's about a $10 billion a year business. And the conditions are unbelievable. I've seen pictures of these 9, 10-year-old boys and girls shackled to bed, forced to have sex 20 to 30 times a day. It's pathetic. It's sad.
It's terrifying is what it is.
And what can people in the United States do about this? I know human trafficking is like a cool word. I hear a lot of people throwing around, but
It's like, I live in L.A. and you know where the gangs are, the drugs are, and they don't do anything about it. It's weird to me. We can do something about it. We just have to, I think the silent majority has to stop being silent. They have to wake up and start being a bigger voice and saying enough is enough. And I think we're starting to wake up a little bit. I think there's a little tremble going on saying, this is crazy where this country's going. It's crazy where the world is going. We need to do something to make it safer for everybody.
Absolutely. But this is one of those things where, again, everybody thinks this happens outside the United States.
No.
Oh, that can't happen here.
No.
It's real here.
It's huge. It's huge
scary.
in Brooklyn. It's huge in D.C. It's huge in Vegas. It's huge in L.A. I mean, it's everywhere. And if you look on the back part of that little thing we gave you there, we have a little governor that actually did a guest starring in the lower left corner there.
Oh my goodness! Yes, Russ, you should look at this. Governor Bobby Jindal does.
He came in as himself.
Does that mean he's going to have an IMDb?
I think he's going to have a SAG card now. So
yeah, we got to get him signed up. Absolutely.
We got better insurance than Obamacare, so I think he's going to jump on that in a heartbeat.
How was your interactions with Governor Jindal then?
How was what?
How were your interactions with him?
I met him back when he was up here in D.C. as a senator. We met way back then, and I was at an event and we had a nice little chat. I went and had dinner at the mayor's mansion there, at the governor's mansion in Baton Rouge, and it was pretty cool. Nice guy. He came in, really was just himself. They wrote a very wonderful part for him to address. We had a big crowd of people at this event, like 5,000 people, and he addressed them and talking about the problems with going on in human trafficking. And I played the good brother with him in that one, of course, and it was interesting.
That is terrific. So, Kevin, if you can tell us, what is it like to be an actor with views that are right of center? I mean, are actors with views right of center forced to live in the shadows in Hollywood?
I don't live in the shadows anymore. I'm pretty much outed, but you just get to points it gets ridiculous. Look, I got liberal friends, I've got conservative friends, I got libertarian friends. I'm not one of those guys that sit there and says you're wrong, I'm right, and stuff like that. I have my point of view. I accept other people's points of view. I'm a Christian. I've got atheist friends. I did God's Not Dead. We had wonderful debates about it, but we still parted as friends. It wasn't like, I believe in freedom of speech. I don't believe in freedom of speech as long as you agree with what I say. So to me, it's like Hollywood's been great to me. I can't complain about it. I mean, I've worked my butt off. I'm a 13-year overnight success. And, I'm glad that I've had the career that I've had, and I'm still working, so knock on wood.
So you're here at CPAC. Did you get a chance to listen to any of the speeches?
No, actually, I just spoke at Young Life in El Paso last night.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, that went till 11 o'clock, and then I had to get up at 3:30 to catch my El Paso flight to Dallas, and Dallas got delayed to get me here because it was snowing, and then I had to land in Baltimore. And so the drive from Baltimore was long to get here.
A little bit of a change in temperature between here and there.
Boom. As soon as I arrived here, I just ran to the room and threw on a sport coat, and here I am.
Well, it's great. Now, this is based on a book series, right? Is this going to be 3 movies?
Well, it's based on, I can't say it's booked on a book series. No, we're doing 3 movies.
You're doing 3 movies, though. It's going to be a trilogy.
Yeah, we're doing a trilogy. We're going to shoot, we shot last fall in Baton Rouge. We're shooting the next one, I believe, in Baton Rouge as well. I heard rumors about Paris. And I said, we got to go to only the good areas of Paris. But, I lived there for 7 years. I mean, for almost a year. So it was interesting being there as well. But, it's going to be 3 different movies on it and just really getting the stories out there. And I think part of it's going to be shot in Greece where we ended the movie. Because we did shoot some of this in Greece, but we'll see what happens. But I have another couple movies coming out too called The Secret Handshake, a family comedy. I wish people would go check that out.
Oh, absolutely.
Written by Howie Klausner, who wrote the movie Space Cowboys with Clint Eastwood and Tommy Lee Jones and James Garner. Then I have another movie called Hope Bridge, which deals with teen suicide. So I do kind of heavy subject movies that I'm sort of drawn to because I've had friends, I know people who have committed suicide, so it's kind of a subject that's close to me.
Well, listen, we'll be happy to promote and bring awareness to any projects that you're working on. I'm amazed that you have time to do our show right now, Russ. I mean, it's amazing.
I am amazed, too. I should get going.
I got one last one.
Before you go. Wait a minute, before you go.
No. Russ, one last one, please, question. Sir. So, speaking of projects, in the future, I mean, good candidates, they have to have name recognition, share your values, have the ability to speak, and be somewhat attractive. In your future, does politics?
Oh my gosh, I would never be a politician. I mean, I think, it's funny when people say, I don't do politics. We're all affected by politics. You can't hide your head in the sand, people. So wake up and pay attention to what's going on in the world because it's insane that it's not, because the world is getting scarier all the time. We got these radical Muslims. To me, it's just absolutely insane what these guys do and let people just get them away with what they're getting away with. And by the way, of course, not every Muslim's bad. All right, I said the radical ones. I don't need more emails of people being idiots.
We automatically
yes,
play
saying all
disclaimer.
billion of them are. I'm not saying that.
And if you wish to email Kevin Sorbo, no, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it's just, you know, it is what it is right now, but it's a world that we got to wake up to and deal with it in reality. But I've been approached by a number of people asking me, saying if I would get into politics. I'm like, going, who would want that job? I got far too many skeletons in my closet. I don't want that out. So
that's what keeps us out of politics as well.
That's right.
And I like my party life.
To round this out and to, you know, bring this back full circle, folks, 27 million people are enslaved worldwide. Yeah. 1.2 million of them are children. It is the world's fastest growing crime. Let's get the word out about Caged. Go to cagedmovie.com. Go to Cage No More. Hashtag Cage No More. Kevin Sorbo's Twitter is
at KSorbs, KSORBS. I had to go Sorbs because somebody stole my name, Sorbo. And they stole Kevin Sorbo. And the Facebook is Kevin Sorbo official Facebook page. And I post a lot, people.
Absolutely. So, I've checked it out. It's absolutely fantastic. Also, check out the Facebook page for Caged. I'm excited about this project. We're going to be talking a lot about it. Thank you, Kevin Sorbo, for coming on the show.
I appreciate your time, guys.
Well, we appreciate your time. Thank you.
You know, listening back to that interview now brings back a flood of memories from when we had our suite at CPAC. And at that point, we had Kevin Sorbo, Van Hipp, who you've seen on Fox News and who's a very good friend of the show, who's promoting his book, The New Terrorism. Go pick it up. And then we had Jason and David Benham, the Benham brothers, walk in. In between interviews, we're taking photos, and I'm surrounded by probably the manliest men you'll ever meet in your life. I mean, Kevin Sorbo, Hercules. And then the Benham brothers, who used to play professional baseball. And needless to say, all the women in the room were fawning over what they were seeing in front of them. And it was just even now it brings a smile to my face thinking about that. Which leads perfectly into the interview we did right after this one that we just had with Kevin Sorbo, with Jason and David Benham. Now, a little background on this. I mentioned earlier that at CPAC, during one of the events there, that we actually won an award for Best in Show podcast for our shows that we did in 2014. Crossing our fingers for 2015, but don't think so this year. I don't even think we're going to be put up for anything. It's the growth of the show is kind of a reward of itself, and there's a lot of work that's put into all that award stuff and all that nonsense. You can read about it on our blog if you want at www.behindenemylines.radio.us. And you can read all about that in our highlights section. So, one of the reasons we won, in my opinion, was that Jason and David were actually tweeting on our behalf and in support of us. And you'll hear a little banter in the beginning of the interview talking about that. And again, just brings back some great memories. My two favorite guests on the show. I mean, Van Hipp is probably all-time number one. Benham's got to be 1A, because they're just such great guys. I love talking to them, and it really comes through in this interview.
And it's a pleasure to bring on the show the two men who, when God made one, he had to make another one because they were just too cool. Jason and David, the Benham brothers. Guys, how you doing, man?
Man, we are doing awesome. Almost as good as you're doing.
No, well,
yeah.
If it wasn't for you guys tweeting out about this Blog Bash Award, we wouldn't have gotten it.
Hey, you did a great
job. Just so you know, we won by 2 votes, and we think it came from you guys.
Yeah, so, I didn't know about that. I think it was a landslide. You guys did great. Congrats, by the way.
Thanks so much.
You guys do great work.
Thank you so much.
That was all Russell Gallo's doing. I had nothing to do with it. So listen, last time we spoke at Value Voters, you were talking about the book that was coming out, and now it's here, right? We're launching it.
The book is here. We've launched it. It's titled Whatever the Cost. And a very short, simple message. We say, listen, as Christians, we have to live out our faith whatever the cost. And as Americans, we have to be willing to defend our freedoms whatever the cost.
Absolutely. It's not just a political message. It's a life message. You know, you have to be able to live your life. And if you can live it by taking those risks and going forward, and while, understanding risk, I'm a lawyer, you have to understand risk, right?
Yeah.
But if you have to live your life kind of out loud, right? That's Absolutely. The way it is.
You know, it's funny you said that. That was the title of our book before we changed it to Whatever the Cost. It was Living Out Loud. And the book basically is our story. And we started writing the book 2 years before HG ever found us. And it was all about dying to your dream. because we were in professional baseball. We had to die to our dream of playing in the major leagues. We didn't make it. I got out voluntarily. He got out because he couldn't hit a curveball.
Don't believe that.
Don't believe that. Exactly right. And
Nobody laugh at that.
And then, of course, HG found us. We pivoted the book to add in the reality component. No sooner did they fire us, we added the facing you fear component, which we believe that Americans and Christians both can live powerfully. But on the one hand, you're going to have to face your fear, period. And on the other hand, you're going to have to die to your dream, which means you let go of the results and you give it to God. You move toward that goal as best